Was 9/11 a great awakening? I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian whistleblower, former 20-year minister, Bible college graduate, over 100,000 hours of study in the biblical scriptures. And I'm broadcasting now live, simulcasting on YouTube and also on Facebook and Twitter. If you're on Facebook and Twitter and you'd like to be a part of the chat, if you'd like to be able to see the visuals that I provide, please come over to Jeff Daugherty's show on YouTube, or just look up Jeffrey Daugherty, look up Christian Whistleblower. You'll find the YouTube channel. You'll see that we're live. And we welcome you to come on in. The water is fine. Join the party. Be able to take part in the chat room and be able to see the visuals that I share. Now, I know that to suggest that 9/11 was a time of awakening might be startling to some of you. After all, it's one of the greatest tragedies in our collective memory, the day when the World Trade Center towers were brought down and many thousands of people lost their lives. So how could anything so tragic, how could anything so terrible have anything other than malevolent, mellifluous qualities about it? Well, let me share something with you to kind of put in context what I'd like to say to you tonight, early this morning for some of you. This is coming from the book of Genesis, chapter 50. And it says this in verse 20, "You thought to bring evil against me, but the Elohim," and look it up in the Hebrew, it is the Elohim. "You thought to bring evil against me, but the Elohim meant it unto good to bring to pass what's going on today, to allow much people to be saved alive, to allow much people to not fear, to allow many people to be nourished, and to allow many young-minded people to grow up, to comfort and to speak words of kindness and encouragement unto the people." Is it possible, ladies and gentlemen, is it possible, ladies and gentlemen, that the tragic events of 9/11 perpetrated by whomever, I see your comment on Twitter, I respect that, whomever perpetrated those events, is it possible that even though they meant those events for our evil, they meant those events to be bad towards us, and many horrible things have happened as a result of the events of 9/11? Of course, the biggest part is the death of many innocent people. But think of the things that were started because of 9/11, the war on terror, the never-ending expansion of U.S. military might into sovereign nations was greatly accelerated on that day. The Patriot Act and its assault on the rights and privacies of American citizens was started that day. The exponential explosion of the surveillance state against United States citizens, and even apparently people that are running for the presidency of the United States, it was all greatly expanded that day. Many of us lost our rights. Many of us, as you say on Twitter, lost our rights, and it still goes on. And as Ronald Reagan so adroitly said, the closest thing that we'll see to eternal life this side of the grave is a government regulation. So if you think the Patriot Act is going to go away, well, you're a very optimistic person. So is it possible that 9/11, with all of its horror, was actually meant to be good? The Elohim have turned it to be good for us. And what if a system of wisdom, thousands of years old, has given us hints that this might be the very case? What if a system of wisdom, revelation, prophecy and guidance, thousands of years old, might be suggesting to us this very thing, that 9/11, the specific event of 9/11, though it was meant to be evil, is being turned into good to bring to pass what we're seeing today. Think of the enlightenment and the awakening that happened as a result of 9/11. As we began to see and understand that 9/11 was an inside job, that 9/11 was not perpetrated by a bunch of people that crawled out of caves somewhere in the desert and somehow overtook airplanes with knife cutters and flew them like fighter pilots into buildings that magically crashed down in their own footprint. We know anybody that is even sort of awake, anybody that has more than, I would say, 16 living brain cells, knows that the official story of what happened on 9/11 is garbage. And we know because of that, that we cannot believe what we're being told anymore by the government. We found out we can't believe anymore what we're being told by the church. We found out we can't believe anymore what we're being told by the media. We know that we're being lied to. Our eyes are opened. And that in and of itself is a great good for us. Many of us have come alive. Many of us have come awake. And a very smart man that was called the Christ said that you will know the truth and the truth will set you free. Even when you find out truth that seems to be enslaving you, just knowing that truth frees you. Edward Snowden did us a great service by revealing many of the nefarious acts of the NSA. Many other whistleblowers have done us great turns by revealing many of the acts, so that fear is going away. We're being nourished. We are waking up. We are being comforted, and we are speaking words of truth and wisdom to people. What was meant to be bad for us, what was meant to be bad to us by the powers that be, as horrific as it was, it's turning out to be for our overall good in the long scheme of things, with all due respect to those people that lost lives and their families on that day. The genie, we just did a show about genie. The genie is out of the bottle. You cannot unring the bell. We know that we've been lied to. We know about the fake news. We know 9/11 was an inside job. We understand and are intimately aware now of false flags and how they work. And we're much less likely to be fooled again by similar circumstances. And our numbers are growing. Our numbers are exploding, if you'll pardon the pun. As someone on Twitter says, no WMDs in Iraq. Yeah, we know that now too. There is no limit to what governments won't do or say to keep us in fear, to keep us in guilt, and to keep us dependent upon them. Gee, that sounds just like what religions do. What if there was a book? What if there was a repository of esoteric wisdom that was outside of any religious system? What if there was a book of wisdom that was beyond even culture or language? What? Yeah, a book that was beyond culture or language. What if there was a book of universal symbology that could explain to us in purely esoteric and naturalistic terms life itself, and may have predicted this specific event for us? I'm speaking of the tarot, and I know many of you are like it's Dracula. And the tarot has been bastardized to a great degree. I've been studying the tarot intensely for a couple of years, and I found it to be heavily bastardized, heavily westernized. Most of the tarot that you find today, be it the Thoth deck, the Rider-Waite deck, or any of the modern decks, I can tell you how you can know if your tarot deck has been bastardized or not. If your tarot deck has numbers on it, it's been bastardized. It's been westernized. Throw it away. If your tarot deck has any symbols of any religion on it, it's been bastardized. Throw it away. If your tarot deck has Egyptian symbols on it, throw it away. It's been bastardized. If your tarot deck has Christian symbols on it, throw it away. It's been bastardized. If your tarot deck has Hebrew symbols on it, throw it away. It's been bastardized. The tarot is a naturalistic book that transcends culture, that transcends religion. And I'm going to get Ernst Wilhelm on the show again to talk about this, because his piece, "My name is from Iraq. How are you? Nice to meet you, Abbas. I'm in Clearwater, Florida. Thank you for joining us on Twitter." I have 115,000 followers on Twitter, going on 12,000 subscribers on YouTube. It would greatly honor me if you would go from my Twitter channel over to my YouTube channel and be a part of the festivities over there. It would also greatly honor me if you would, when you have a chance, if you want to change your life, if you want to feel better, if you want to feel stronger, if you want to feel faster, go over to my website right here, jeffreydarty.com. You can see it right there. Click on this Mystech logo. Find out about this technology, these bands that I have on my wrist. No, they're not like anything you've ever seen before. They literally help me sleep half the time, and I was only sleeping 6 hours before. They help me sleep half the time, get twice the rest. They've given me improved performance in the gym. They made it much easier for me to fast and carry on my spiritual disciplines like astral projection, contacting spirits in the spirit realm. They also help me greatly increase my energy and vitality. We'll leave it at that. You can see a lot of testimonials here. You can see some great videos here. Simply go over to the Mystech website, decide which product you want, come back to my website, and guess what? Not only can you get this technology, but you can get it at 20% off, and a small portion of the proceeds go to help me as I continue to do the paranormal trip. We've been to Coral Castle. We've been to the Georgia Guidestones. We've been to the Parthenon in Nashville and seen the great statue of Diana. Many more things planned. Help me help you. Go and take advantage of this and get your Mystech. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. The tarot, in my estimation, in my opinion, was bastardized and was reduced in effectiveness when Egyptian symbols were added to it, when Kabbalistic symbols were added to it, when Western symbols were added to it, when Hermetic symbols were added to it, when numbers were added to it. This whole idea of the journey of the hero, there is no hero, there is no journey. They are meant to be essentially cards that are symbolic. It's a symbolic language that anyone from anywhere, from any time can understand and tap into. And I believe that in their purest, truest form, they may well have shown us, they may well have predicted the horrific events of 9/11, and they may well have shown us through their symbolism that even though it was a horrible event, that it has awoken many of us and that many more will be awakened. I want to show you a couple of the cards of the tarot, And unfortunately, I couldn't find any good pictures of the ones that don't have numbers and don't have Christian and Hermetic and Kabbalistic symbolism. But I don't know, maybe we'll have to make one of our own. So we're going to go ahead and show you these right now so you can understand exactly what I'm talking about. Let's get rid of jeffreydarty.com here for a minute. It'd probably be easier just to leave it in the background. Let's bring up a couple of the cards that I want to look at. Here we go. All right. Now, I didn't just randomly pick these cards out. That's part of the beauty of this. These cards are what we call a pair. These cards are corresponding. These cards go together in the tarot deck. Let's pretend that this word here is gone. Let's pretend that you can't see this number right here. Let's pretend that this religious guy is not here. I'm in Clearwater. I'm not a Scientologist. I was here and since 1963, born in Morton Plant Hospital. They didn't get here until the late 70s. So, and let's just pretend that all you see are the timeless symbols. So anyone from anywhere can look at this and see it's a tower, and they can see it's on fire, and they can see people are falling out of it. They can see it's crumbling down. They can see it's hit from something from above. They can see puffs of smoke going up from it. And I don't want to teach you a whole thing about the tarot right now, but these are the corresponding cards of the male side of destruction and the female side of destruction. And there's some great lessons to be learned here, and I think very possibly some great prophetic insight. And unfortunately, on Twitter and YouTube, you can't see the cards. But if you want to go over to Jeff Darty Show on YouTube and subscribe while you're there, you'll be able to see the cards. And I'm not looking at the chat room right now because I want to keep my focus on this. This card right here, they're both the seventh pair of the Arcana. They are the seventh pair of the Arcana. And I am ignoring idiots right now. I'm getting good at it. So if you look at these cards, this automatically makes you think of 9/11. And this was thousands of years old, ladies and gentlemen, thousands of years before 9/11. A tower with people jumping out of it, falling out of it. A tower with smoke going up, a tower on fire. A tower struck by something in the air. And it bears great resemblance to the situation that happened on that tragic day of 9/11. And this tarot card represents the capacity for destruction. It represents the capacity for destruction in a both positive and a negative way. Obviously, being struck, this thing falling, people dying, it shows the negative, horrible effects of destructive forces. But does it also show us getting our hats blown off, us getting our minds blown, us waking up to realize that the government is not our friend? Does it also show the fall of the trust, the final fall of the trust in religion? Because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? In most tarot, this card used to be called not the Tower. You know what it used to be called? It used to be called the House of God. Does this card also show the destruction of the carte blanche that was enjoyed by the Christian church in America? Does this card show the destruction of the carte blanche that was given prior to 9/11 to the American government that wraps itself in "In God We Trust" and "God Bless Americas"? Does it show that this act of destruction destroyed our illusions, that this act of destruction destroyed our naivete, that this act of destruction destroyed the veil that was over our eyes, thinking, oh, the government loves us so much and they're here to help. Did this destruction destroy the veil and the mask and the blinders over our eyes that said, oh, the church loves us so much, they're just here to help us? Did this destruction allow us to see the capacity for destruction by the very entities that did it? Did this negative, destructive act that took so many innocent lives show us the negative, destructive capacity of the American government, the negative, destructive capacity of the American religious system? Did it show us? Did it blow our hats off? Did it blow our minds and wake us up to the fact that we can't trust the government? We can't trust the church. The most dangerous and scary words in the English language are, we're from the government and we're here to help you. With the possible exception of, we're from the government and the church and we're here to save you. Negative destruction has provided positive destruction of naivete, of ignorance, of foolishness, and people by the millions are waking up to the fact that, as Mark Twain said, it's much easier to fool someone than it is to show them they've been fooled. That's why these idiots over on Twitter in their mom's basement, Friday night, no date, can't even talk to anyone. They can go on to Twitter, spout their stupidity, and everybody has to at least see it. Let's just ignore these people like everybody else does. And this was written thousands of years ago. This was drawn thousands of years ago in its original state. Thousands of years ago. And it's showing us the positive and the negative aspects of destruction that took place on 9/11, and showing us something that was meant for evil, with some evil accomplished, but it has accounted for much good. Do you know how many people are now awake because of 9/11? Do you know how many people have now woken up just because of 9/11? The numbers are staggering. The numbers are in the millions. Maybe even over 1 billion by now. Maybe heading towards multiple billions of people. 9/11 was a masterstroke for the NWO, the PTB. But did they, as evil normally does, overplay their hand? Because they woke a lot of us up. That's the male aspect of this seventh pair of destruction. That card represents the male aspect. But in the true tarot, there is always a female aspect and a male aspect of everything. Because within us, there is a female aspect and a male aspect as well in everything. The female aspect of destruction is symbolized by the death card. Forget this flag, even forget this knight. You see, not every culture would understand what a knight is. That's why we need to get a much better tarot system. Forget the religious imagery, and let's just talk about death. It is the female expression of destruction. What are we learning from it? It's the inner part, the internal part, the spiritual part, if you will. Over here, we had the death and destruction of a literal building. We had the death and destruction of literal lives. We had the death and destruction of our trust in the government, of our trust in the church. Here, we have death, but it's death on the inside. It's death of our faith, unfortunately, death of our trust, death of us being able to say, oh, yes, most people in government, in the church, want our best. That had to die. But what it shows us is that when naivete dies, when misplaced trust dies, when silliness dies, when we were children, we spoke as children, and when that dies, what continues on? What continues on is we grow up and put away childish things. And even though faith and trust in government is dead, even though trust in government is dead, what goes on is a deep realization of the basic goodness of humanity. When the Christ said, the kingdom of God is in you, and we realize we don't need a government to be righteous, moral, and upright. See the video I just did about Job. When we die to the us versus them paradigm, oh, it was the Muslims that did it. If you still think it was the Muslims that destroyed the Twin Towers, I hate to say it in this case, but you're stupid. You're ignoring the evidence. The Muslims didn't destroy the Twin Towers. And this destruction of the Twin Towers was meant to put you at odds against another human being. When you die to the lie that the Muslims destroyed the Twin Towers, you awaken to the fact that they're trying to pit us against other people. In the words that the Christ said, love your neighbor as yourself, commend your heart and mind. Oh, I've died to the fact that the government loves me. I've died to the fact that the church loves me. I've died to their lies that I'm filled with original sin. And I realize, as the Christ said, I've got the kingdom of God, the spark of divinity within me. And guess what? If I have it, if I have the spark of divinity in me over here in Clearwater, Florida, then the person over in the Middle East has the spark of divinity in them, just as I have the spark of divinity in me. Just like I've been lied to by my religion, they've been lied to by theirs. So we can understand our own spark of divinity, understand our own succumbing to lies, and allow our brothers to learn the same fate, and we can join hands with each other and say, you know what? Religion and government has been lying to us. Let's overcome this and join together. So as disillusionment dies, true human illumination can rise in our hearts and in our lives and can continue on. The destruction of 9/11 was meant for evil. It brought death to a lot of our cherished notions about church and state. But in the destruction of naivete, the destruction of our blindness has also been accomplished. In the death of our silly notions, we've passed into real life and real knowledge and real knowing. This from a system of teaching and enlightenment that is thousands of years old. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what you call some pretty amazing stuff. You've listened to me for almost 30 minutes. I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to go into the chat room and I'm going to read your questions. I'm going to respond to everyone that I can. If you can't stay with us for the responses to the questions, we understand. But I want to do you the honor of answering your questions, of listening to you as you've listened to me. Sorry, I can't mute on Twitter or on Facebook. Okay, so here we go. I love the episode that we just did on Moses. Thank you. That was a great episode. The show on Job was a great episode. Revelation days have been over since AD 70, Dean. But we are living in the days that Daniel talked about with the knowledge, because where he said where many shall run to and fro, that means that many will be traveling great distances in incredibly short times from the greatest to the least. That's a clear indication of our times in the airplanes, trains, cars, automobiles, etc. Just look at Samantha's face. You know she did it. That's a reference back to the show we just did about being raised by witches. It's going to be, okay, let's try to stay on topic here. I've had personal conversations with Jim Caviezel. We'll talk about that another time. All right. It's a lie. Every government needs a religion because it's easier to control the people. Absolutely. Greetings to you, Alexander from Belgium. Learn to read tarot from my grandmother. It's great insight. I agree. Those wristbands can make your power level go over 9,000. I'm not sure what that means. Make the deck out of stones and drop them into a circle. The one that rolls out is the card. Okay. Please continue with the teaching. I am. Doesn't anyone notice the W on the Tower card? Oh, wow. That's pretty amazing. A big W on the Tower card. Could that be for George W. Bush? That's great insight, Z Golden Report. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. The Twin Towers were constructed to represent the pillars in occultism. Could be. I see the crown falling. When our third eye was blasted open. Great insight. The third eye was blasted open. The cap is falling off. This would have been covering the third eye. Now we can see clearly. That's some very good insight from the smartest chat room, except with some notable exceptions over on Twitter. They made us stupid through programming. Yes, there is a W on the card with the tower. The burning bush. Oh, that's amazing stuff. The burning W bush. Wow. Powerful. Oh, you're not seeing it when I put that out. I'm sorry. Let me share this with you so you can see it. Am I sharing now? I don't think I am. Share screen. See the W? The burning W bush. Interesting stuff. Nice catch. GWB is related to the Queen. I've already challenged those guys to a debate, but they're all suffering from low testosterone. They simply don't have the testicular fortitude. Their hearts just couldn't bear the strain. They're no daisies. They're no daisies at all. But if any of them should nut up, I'm your Huckleberry. That's just my game. Innocence lost. Absolutely. Thank you for saying another great show. Stay on topic, please. One of the 6 hijackers who so-called flew into the planes is reportedly still alive. I've seen that. All religion is not the creator. I agree. Whoops. We jumped. Yes, I do sell those wristbands. Religion does control politics and corporations and vice versa. I do have a new scarf on. Some mental midget said it's got pentagrams on it. Those are stars, you retard. Did I say that out loud or did I just think it? I've been pondering the very thing. If something bad causes people to wake up or grow, is the cause bad and the effect good? Was it really bad? Very interesting. Very interesting. 9/11 made me play the if-then game. If this was fake, then what else is? 9/11 was a huge wake-up call. Do I have a job? I'm doing my job. What are you doing? We should all study tarot. We should all study, someone says, should we all study tarot? We should all study a divination methodology. Oh my, what? Because the Christ said we should. Somebody just referenced Daniel earlier, and Daniel said in his vision of the, and you can look this up on my channel, Daniel and AI. In Daniel's vision, I hope your dog wasn't really in Tower 2 and you're just kidding. If it was, I'm so sorry. Yeah, what do I know about the government? I was just a delegate to the Republican National Convention before. I know nothing about it. Moron. What was I talking about? Sorry, I let him distract me. My bad. Oh, Daniel said that AI would rise. He said that AI would try to take over the world as a god, and the diviners that serve him, that is a stone cut without hands, would bring the whole system down. So you don't have to be a diviner, but if you want to be part of what brings the system down, be a diviner. That's why I talk about tarot. That's why I talk about crystal balls. That's why I do palmistry. That's why I do several versions of cartomancy, which is like this, the cosmic deck of initiation. The Gypsy Witch Tarot, which is a terrible name, but the regular tarot, I don't read tarot like anyone else, though. I read only the major arcana, and we take all of the symbolism out of it that is not from the original natural symbolism. You can see the card things behind me. But anyway, yes, I think that you should all do a divination. I do sell the wristbands. We talked about that earlier. Excuse me. 20% off on the wristbands, by the way. Thank you, Rachel. I'm doing my best. Oh, that's right. Divining rods, pendants. We do all that stuff. What is blowing my mind is how they steal the kids' minds. Yeah, school is a terrible thing. It really is. School is an awful, terrible thing. I really support my daughter who raises my grandchildren and does homeschool. Yesterday I was listening to nature music. Good for you. Which cards correspond with the planet Uranus? That might be a joke. I'm just going to pass that by. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Is it possible that these great ancient tools of divination may have actually shown us that what was meant to us to be evil is actually turning out to be good? Was 9/11 a great awakening? I'm the Christian whistleblower, Jeffrey Daugherty. I'm here to help you be your own guru, guide your own spirit, master your own ascension. I'm here to help you learn how to ask questions and question answers. And I'm encouraging you, stay fearless, my friends. Join the Gospel Truth Army. Get ready. Here we come. I salute you for being here, seeking after truth. March on and unindoctrinate